Hey, my friends, would it be important to you to deal with what life throws at you? Sometimes shit happens, and be able to use it for good, to change your life, to notice how you can change the things which are negative into positive? Would that be important to you? Because it happens all the time. Please do have a listen after this. You will enjoy it. Oh, by the way, I do make myself laugh in this quite a bit. Hopefully you'll laugh too. With me, not at me, by the way. If you've got low self-esteem, if you've got, I'm going to guess, fear, anxiety, a lack of confidence, a lack of all that stuff, I guess you're thinking it's only me. But you're wrong, because it affects everyone. But, and there's a but, we don't normally use buts here, but there's a but. Having confidence, having a high self-esteem, feeling comfortable in the uncomfortable, doing stuff that just creates wonderful things in your life. That's common too. That's what you should expect, and that's what we do here at the Personal Development Unplugged podcast. It's all about taking you from anxiety all the way to supreme inner confidence. A confidence in yourself, being congruent, being aligned, basically being the real you and singing from your real voice. I know they're buzzwords, but in this podcast, we mean it. Being authentic, finding that real you, and loving life, creating the life you want, getting what you want. So if that's what you want, you're in the right place. With me, Paul Clough. Who am I? Very quickly, I'm a hypnotist. I do NLP, I'm a trainer of NLP, and I do timeline therapy and a lot of other stuff in your mind. And what we do here is deconstruct the things that people do great, working out their strategies and transferring them into us with easy processes. So breaking down what they do, find a process that creates that. Or we deconstruct what you do, the things you don't like, and how to change them into things you do like. What you're frightened of, making that into something that you're okay with and able to use. So that's of interest to you, to become comfortable, to have high self-esteem, and to have the courage to be you with all the confidence that you have. I know you have. You're in the right place with me, Paul. I thank you for your time, and I'm sure when you listen to the podcast, you're going to take some golden nuggets away with you. So enjoy with my compliments.
Warning.
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 Warning. You are entering into the unplugged mind of Paul Clough. Too late. Personal Development Unplugged.
Hey, my friends, I don't know if this is going to be a 5-minute quickie, the mysterious 5-minute quickie, or whether it's going to be a midway thing or a long one. Let's find out. And we're explicit. All from even the title. What to do when shit happens. Because shit, I guess, is an expletive, isn't it? I don't know. So many people use it so much now. But it happens, doesn't it? It does happen. We say, shit happens. But the thing is, if you can, what would happen if you looked at that differently? I like to if I can. Can't always when I'm in it. Can't always think about that. But when I'm not, if I can get counterintuitive, think differently, bigging yourself up there, Cluffy. But if I can, that's what we could do. Now, you might be saying at this very moment in time, what the hell are you talking about, Cluffy? What is this counterintuitive shit? Well, you see, shit happens, and it happens a lot more than you think. It really does. It happens a lot more than you think. Okay, that's could be very agreeable to you. Yeah, that's right, Paul. Or you could be thinking, still don't understand what he's talking about. You see, bad shit happens. That's what we talk about a lot. But and guess what? Good shit happens too. just depends how you perceive it. It's your perception. It's your perception that makes that so. Yeah? You get it? Your experiences. How many times have, I've seen something, done something, and thought, oh, I hate this. This is the pits. And the person next door to me is saying, bloody hell, Cluffy, I'm having such a great time. Our experiences will create the filters, as it were, the filters of how we see things, how we take them inside, and then how we judge them, how we value them. But even then, we're going to look differently because it is our perception, but our perception is only based on those experiences. And what would happen if we looked at it in a different way? See, it doesn't matter at the moment. Just come with me for a little bit longer. Let's take a look at each one. So we start off with the negative. Always start off with the negatives. That means I'm telling you, this is my covert, overt message to you. I'm going to start with the bad shit. And guess what we'll end up with? Because when we end up with the positive one, we're going to feel good. So be prepared to feel positive, but it's not bad anyway. So let's look at each one. The first one first, the negative shit, bad shit. Now, something that happens to us could be the start of a change in us. This could be the root cause of something. Something happens to us. And as we perceive it, we take on a negative belief. Oh, this always happens to me. We're reinforcing something. Oh my God, this is terrible. I'm such a XYZ. You fill in the blank. I shouldn't be here. I shouldn't have started it. I'm so stupid. All those beliefs that start off with I. When they start off with I, it's identity. They're the ones that are the ones when they're positive, boost you and support you. These ones, I know they're trying to do something for you. There's a positive intention, but there's better ways, by the way. And you see, when you have that negative belief, you're going to really tap into the emotions, those negative emotions that's happening right now. And guess what? Then you're going to react in a way. Those behaviors you're going to react with aren't going to be the most positive, appropriate. But certainly when you look back over them, with a clear mind, a different set of focuses, a different set of perceptions or just filters, you go, what the hell was I thinking about? But the thing is, if that particular event have created a negative belief, and with that, the support of negative emotions, because your unconscious mind is really keying in now, and those negative behaviors, you might take them into the future. You might create a new strategy of trying to do something about this, but creating even more negative beliefs because that thing happened. And it could be a new chain of reactions if you let it. And you don't need to let it, by the way. On the other hand, it could be a part of an old change, an old chain of negatives where you're just reinforcing the previous negative belief. You're reinforcing those negative emotions of, say, fear, anxiety, imposter syndrome, guilt, jealousy, all that. You name any one of them. Grief. We have a negative belief that's now being reinforced again because we're filtering this stuff, filtering it through that negative belief and going, yeah, this emotion is, and the behaviors that come with it. We are literally reinforcing that theme. Again, if you let it. Can you see there's a theme in this now? If you let it. Because that's a choice. You don't have to let it. Now, you might say, I don't know how to do that, but rest assured, Cluffy will be here. You see, we need to review both examples. But the thing is, not at the time. Why is that, Cluffy? You see, if you review the thing in that negative state, you're not going to get the best advice, are you? Best advice for yourself, because you're just reinforcing that old crap, that old shit. You can't read the label from inside the jar. And that's what you'll be. You're in this jar of negativity, the jar of negative beliefs, limiting beliefs and behaviors. You're having it all. You're not going to be thinking about it, not in a positive way. So you've got to give yourself time. You've got to do what we do in NLP, hypnosis. We have to break the pattern, break the state. So somehow break the state. Do something completely different. Go to the gym, go for a run, go for a walk. Do something, shake, jump. Physical is good. Read a book. Do something that changes your state, your physiology, your emotions. And when you're in a different state, maybe get your puzzle book out. Because I do like thinking, but I think thinking without writing your thoughts down, writing the questions down, writing the answers down, they're there in front of you. There's things to go back on. It makes it something you can grab hold of, I think. If you can grab hold of words, well, you've got a book, but it makes it more physical, something you can handle, something you can grasp. It makes you feel differently. And you can see the world differently that way. It gives you a chance to see the world. And then you'll notice how things can be different. Because you can think, write, think questions. You can think of things like, what really happened there? What really happened? Not when I was in there and it was all coming on and I got all the bullshit because I'm taking on other people's thoughts and everything else. Write down the facts, not the emotion. Go into data mode and be honest. What really happened? How did you react? How did other people react? Not the emotions, or don't get emotional about it. Just state how they did it. So you've now got a document. You've got something that you've documented of what really happened. We do a great process of reacting to criticism, where we get the you over there to notice what they saw and then take away the bullshit. So there's shit in that as well. Take away the bullshit and notice what's just the facts. Because when you get the facts, you can actually notice what did happen. And then you can ask yourself, what did I want to have happen? How did I want it to be? What would have been the best scenario, the best result? And how could I get there? Not how could I get there, but just how did I just react? What was my tone of voice, maybe my physiology? And again, you're writing this down as if it was a fact. This is how I wanted it to go. And then look at the difference. What's the difference between the facts of what really happened and how you wanted to have happen? And when you do that, you find the difference, because it's the difference that makes a difference. Then you can ask yourself the question, well, what could I have done differently? Now, with that, you can go back to those old things we've been talking about. What would be the positive belief I would have to have about myself to have it the way I wanted it to be? That difference. To make it different and have done something different, what positive belief would I have had to have? And when you get that, you'd start to feel it. You'll start to feel the positive emotion around that belief. And then you can actually go even deeper. So what would be the positive emotions that would support me in having it different, to create that difference? And what would having that positive set of beliefs and those positive emotions, appropriate, healthy, readily available emotions, what behaviors, what positive, appropriate and readily available behaviors would have made the difference? And all you're doing is being factual now. And once you've got that, you can then just close your eyes and you can just imagine it. Imagine all of the above happening just the way you want it, because you've gone through it in detail now. See yourself over there going through that scenario with that positive set of beliefs, with those wonderful set of appropriate emotions, and with the behaviors that come from both of those. And then notice how you feel having that difference. And you might want to just notice, unconsciously notice how much safer you feel with this new scenario. How much, and sometimes we don't notice our safety. Because when we're safe, we don't notice it. It's only when we're unsafe that we feel unsafe. But just notice how comfortable you are in that situation. That's a good way to feel safe. If you're comfortable, you're safe. So just notice how comfortable you feel with this different way. And what you can do, here's another how, just do it a few more times, but not in the same scenario. Imagine that happening sometime in the future. Don't put a specific time, because we don't want to put specific issues into our future. But just imagine if it happened sometime in the future, an unspecified time in the future is a good way of putting it. Something like this, and I acted in this new way. Notice how comfortable and how good the result is. And when you've done that, do it again. And then you only have to do it 2 or 3 times to begin to generalize it into different contexts. And your unconscious mind doesn't really know what's imagined and what's real. So it begins to think, hey, these 3 jolly good ways, jolly good ways, very British, Paul, are making it even better. Because we're feeling safe, we're feeling comfortable, we're getting the result we want. Because when I think about that old time, when that shit happened, it wasn't good. And then just have a positive intention. This or something better. Keep those different beliefs, emotions and behaviors. There. See them. Be there. Now, that's now taking bad shit happening and using it, because bad shit happening is a learning if you learn from it. If bad shit happens, just reinforces that old stuff and you don't do anything, well, it's just going to reinforce your unconscious mind to try to protect you in a different way. But this is a good way to protect you because it's going to move you forward. And guess what? When it generalizes, you're going to get even more opportunities to be you. Coming from that wonderful place of positive beliefs, emotions and behaviors. And you've got a shed load of those, or some people might say, you've got a shitload of those. That word is going to come through this all the time, isn't it? But there's more. Did you forget what we were doing? We did the negative. Did you forget about the good shit happening? You see, this is where you can do it right there in the moment. See, when it's negative, we want to get out of the jar. We want to put it over there. Look at it from a meta point of view, as it were, from a distance, disconnected. But when the good shit happens, we want to be in the moment so we can use that good feeling. We want to be here and go, do you know what? This is fucking awesome. I'm feeling so good. So I'm going to tell you now, it can be difficult to do because when we're in that good moment, when the good shit happens, we're lost in it, aren't we? But if you can, remember this, anchor it. If you can, anchor it. Do you remember anchoring where you touch maybe a thumb and then maybe a little finger? Use a different anchor, different finger, different part of your hand, maybe a knuckle, maybe touch on your shoulder, whatever it is. Maybe say a word that's unique to this feeling right in the moment, if you can. Because then this might be the start of a new chain of experiences. Yeah? A new chain. Because these are the chain of experiences that we want to have happen. This is the type of strategy that we want to have that makes us feel bloody awesome. And when you're doing that, you can think just for a moment, if you could do it in the moment, I know this is going to be really difficult, but just take out a few moments and go see it happening sometime in the future again. Not a specific time, but just a general time. Sometime in the future. If it was to happen, I know you did this again. Say that word, that power anchor word. Squeeze a finger and thumb or whatever your unique anchor is. Fire it off. And just see it 2 or 3 times in different times in the future. Unspecified times in the future. What if it happened in the future and this happened? What would it be like to have this? This or something better? In the moment. Now, if you can't do it in the moment, you got to do, I think you really have to. You don't have to, but you have to. You have to get your journal out. So when you're sitting down, maybe in the following morning or in the day or in the evening, as it were, maybe you're doing your gratitude. Put the gratitude, whoops, I just knocked the microphone. put the gratitude journal away for a moment and write out in just a couple of sentences what happened, what really happened. And as you think about it, maybe you can then feel that feeling. Set up an anchor. Say a power word that connects to that anchor as well. So when you say that word and you squeeze and touch yourself in that special way, boom, it all comes back. And ask yourself, how can I repeat this? Well, I'm going to tell you. Here's a way you could really ask how to repeat this. You can do that thing by generalizing, seeing it happening in the future again. Do exactly what we said a minute ago. If it happened in the future, an unspecified time in the future, feel it, see it, do it, fire the anchor, say the word. But here's another way. Just ask yourself, and I like to write this down, what would it be like to, and then describe it, the way you feel, you act, you believe, and have it happen more often, more better. What would this be like? What would that be like? This or something better. And then just let it go. Leave it. Just get back to your gratitude journal or get back to going to sleep or whatever you're doing. Do you want me to repeat that for you? I think I will, because you could rewind it, but then I'm asking you to press too many buttons. Here's what you do. Push that gratitude journal just aside for a moment, because you'll be grateful for this in a moment. Or just get your journal out, a piece of paper, anything. The worst you could do is just repeat it in your head, because it's still going to be awesome. And you ask inside, what would it be like to, and describe that situation, to happen more often, to be more better? What would that be like? What would that be really like? This or something better. And then let that go into the multiverse, the universe, ethereal way of being, the integrated field of, whatever you want to call it, the K-shik field. There's so many different terms for it. But just let it go. Because what happens is, the bloody thing starts working. It really does. It's amazing. It's amazing. So, you've got all of that, yeah? Got it all? So, here's the thing. Let's have a little summary of this. Because if we don't summarize it, we're just putting it back into our brains again. So what have we just done? Well, what we have just done, if you get what I said and you like it and you're going to do it, you've decided to take action. You've decided to take control. Because when you take action and control, you are at cause. You're at cause. And when you're at cause, that is pressing the button of empowerment. You're not going to go just with the flow. You're not going to just let it keep happening. You're going to break the pattern. Or you may even start a new pattern. But taking action, taking control, deciding to be at cause. That's what we're going to do. You see, I know that the way I work with my clients, I like to go to the root cause, learn from the root cause, and that really lets things go. But sometimes we just need to learn from what the shit happens now. If we just learn from that and do those visualizations, as I said, and ask that question, it'll just happen. It will just happen because we're suggesting to our unconscious mind better ways to get what it wants for us, which is to be safe, to be comfortable, to enjoy life, to be healthy. And sometimes we go to the root cause because when my clients come, they're probably having a shit time and more shit times than they really want. So we go to the root cause with hypnosis and some of the questions I do and things like that. And we learn from it at the unconscious level. Then we find those new ways. You see, but we are breaking that pattern. But sometimes when this thing happens and we do this, we're just suggesting to that unconscious mind of yours, your best friend, let's get some better ways to get what we want. What you want, it wants. Now that's great, isn't it? You see, it's great now that shit happens. Isn't it? It's just great. You know, it's a bit like Jocko Willikin. Good that it's happening to me. That's good. Anything that happens to Jocko is good because he gets to learn from it. Because you're learning from the shit and you're learning from bad shit and good shit. And you're making life better. Better for you, which is where you have to start. I know it's very selfish, but it's selfish in the most unselfish way you could ever be, because when you're feeling good, you will vibrate a wonderful feeling around you that people just want to be there. They feel good around you. And if it's your family and friends who love you, they get to love you when you are feeling good. And that's what they like. And they get to feel really good. And you get to feel good around them. And it's just a wonderful spiral that just keeps getting better and better and more intense in those feelings. But also you're going to affect everyone else around you, even the people who don't know you. They're going to get to know you in a way because we're all connected. And you're going to be the change, not what you want to see happen in yourself, but you're going to be the change you want to see in others because they just get it. By your living example of just getting on with shit. Oh, that does make me laugh. Anyway, I hope you like this shit. I'm going to have to stop saying this bloody word. But anyway, I do hope you enjoyed this. Well, it is not a 5-minute quickie, is it? I think we've got a longer podcast on our hands. I'd love you to go and maybe listen to those points again. Maybe if I can, I'll do a little process on it. But I think it's all there for you. It's very simple. But don't be deceived with its simplicity. Because in simplicity, there's genius. Not too simple. It is bloody powerful, what we've just talked about. And if you put your mind into it with the right intention, the positive intention of just learning and growing and being better and being a better you. So you can sing from your real voice. You can show up with the real you. Integrated, aligned, all that stuff. Boom, you've got a life that's going to make reality explode in wonders, wonderfulness, happiness, joy, all that stuff. If you enjoyed this, as I said, you might need to go back and have a look at that. But if you just enjoyed that and you do these little processes, I'd love to know what your results were. How did you think? What was the changes you made? How did it change the negative, the bad shit? How did it enhance the good shit? Do let me know by email. feedback@personaldevelopmentunplugged.com. You could, I guess, put a little 30-second video up on my Facebook page, and that's Personal Development Unplugged too. You can probably find that. I think you can put videos up, can't you, to say, hey, this is me. You could use that. You could look for that. It's not private. So it's open to the whole public. So if you don't want to show the world, just send it on email to me. It stays private that way. Only me gets it because I'm the old, as I said before, I'm the only bugger here. So when we talk about solo casts, this is really solo, but it's personal. So send me that email. Send me some feedback, please. If you like what you hear, let me know. So that just gives me that little bit of oomph to spur me on. If you didn't like what you hear, let me know what you didn't like. Because if I can do something about it, I will. I'm not going to go all woke on me, by the way, but I will take notice of what people say. And what else is there? Oh yeah, share this podcast, please, this episode to everyone, because everyone has shit happen on them, good or bad. And if we can enhance the good and say let go of the negative, awesome. So please do share it with, that one friend that you've got hundreds of. Share it to them all, because then they all get it. And also, so that's the sharing bit done, the emailing bit done. What else is there? Well, if you can, you obviously subscribed, haven't you? And get other people to subscribe to this. That's good. Always boosts the numbers and makes it more seeable, visible, I guess the word is, to other people. So they might come along and join us too. And let's make a whole half dozen of people listening to this. And then, if you could, I think it's Google Play is probably the biggest one, which used to be iTunes, I think. If you could leave a lovely review for me, I'd love that. If you could, and send me a screenshot of it from your phone or whatever it is, send it to me by email, that feedback@personaldevelopmentunplugged.com. You get a lovely personal reply from me. And you would know that it would make my heart sing. Anyway, I'm going to go and have a little rest because what was a 5-minute quickie has been a joy. And it's now a longer podcast. I will see you, or you'll hear from me very soon. Have more fun. Well, bugger it. Have more fun than you can stand. And I don't know. See, this is a bit I don't know. But if you just turn off your conscious mind for a moment and just let your unconscious mind listen to this, I wonder if you, the unconscious mind, would surprise their conscious mind to make it feel happy for no reason at all, and then notice how good that is. There you go. Anyway, from me, lots of love, and it's time to fly, my friend. Bye-bye.
Warning, you are now leaving the unplugged mind of Paul Clough. It's time to fly on your own. Be brave, my friend.
Personal Development Unplugged.